Alright guys, I have my G-Mart comic book store haul in, right? And I think, I order my comic books through G-Mart comic book store online. I get a 15% discount. And after the books accumulate to about $85 value, they just go ahead and ship them for free. So this is kind of how I keep up with some of the newer books. And usually I just don't usually buy new books. I just kind of wait a month or two and they end up in the dollar bin unless there's things I'm really wanting to make sure I get. So this took from, I think my last G-Mart haul was back in January. So here we are. I think today's August the 29th. So this is accumulated from February till now. The only book I did not get in this that has been released was the Labyrinth 30th anniversary special, which is all right because I contacted G-Mart and they told me that Diamond did not get them enough books, and it messed up their order from Diamond distributors, and they're going to take care of it. And they've taken care of me in the past. Anytime I've had a problem, I think I've been ordering from this company since 2002, and I think I might have had two problems. And they've actually been in recent years. There's a whole decade there where nothing happened. It was business as usual. Okay, so I think this accumulated to about $90 worth of stuff with the discount over a course of a few months. I'm still all right with that. If you watch my videos, I like to get a deal and stuff. But I got a lot of variant covers and a lot of hardbacks, so I'm not going to complain. And a book that's already sold out. I think on the distributor level. It's probably still in shops here and there, or Barnes and Noble or something somewhere. All right, so I'm going to start with the indie books and then just move on to the DC. Okay, first thing that's in, I got my Hillbilly #2. I've got this pre-ordered all the way up till issue 4 or 5, I think. This is sold out on the distributor level. There's second prints of 1 and 2 coming out. And for my money, this is the book that, I read a lot of stuff that I enjoy, but there's just something about this that is just freaking awesome, man. And from what I've heard, people, I haven't read #2, but from what I can tell, if it's anything with the progress that Eric Powell made on Goon, it's going to get better and better and better. We've been introduced to the character and the lore and the tone, and now we can get moving on. And this has ties to Goon because there's the Buzzard for you Goon fans. And basically, the Buzzard is a very old character who is, I love his concept, man. He's the monster for the zombies. To live, he has to eat zombie flesh. Kind of a spin on the zombies having to eat human flesh and brain and stuff right there. So yeah, the Buzzard. It's good to see him back with the Hillbilly. Okay, a book that I've been picking up bits and pieces, and I started to regularly order this, but I've been having a lot of luck getting, finding this in dollar bins and stuff like that, which, love you, Kurt Busiek, but, I got a budget here. But I ordered #1 online just to check it out. Never really got around to reading it for many reasons and stuff. And then I come to find out that the story behind this book is Kurt Busiek has some ideas for Commandy. From what I understand, DC also told him no. They also told Paul Pope no. Paul Pope ended up doing Battling Boy with some of the concepts he wanted to bring to Commandy. Well, Kurt Busiek took his Commandy ideas and he made Autumn Lands. Started out being called Tooth and Claw, the Autumn Lands, which I guess was a story arc, and this is #11. I think this thing is up to anywhere between 12 and 14 in the stands. I don't know. But I've gotten quite a bit of these out of the dollar boxes. So, yeah, I ordered this, and then I started finding more of them. So, probably missing 3 or 4 issues, and that's about it. But it's talking animals and stuff, so it should be good. All right. And I just got this on a whim. I was going to start, same thing, I was going to start getting this regularly. I'm really late on the boat getting this fantastic book. And I was talking to Comic Recorder 410, who said that when he was at a comic book convention, I don't know, last couple years or something, he saw Neil Adams waited patiently at Stan Sakai. I made a video where I kept calling him Steve. I know better. I've had the guy on my Facebook forever, following him. But anyway, Stan Sakai. But, he said he saw Neil Adams going around kind of picking on some of the other creators at their tables. When he got to Stan Sakai, he waited patiently, shook the man's hand, and has all this respect for him because this guy's been, I guess, putting out this book. It's got to be getting close to 30 years in one form or the other. And all the other creators would love to have the freedom he has because he's never gone to one of the big two. And supposedly in the 90s, and who knows, according to the lore, there was a huge fight behind the scenes between movie companies wanting this property. And of course, we are talking about Usagi Yojimbo. This is issue 156, and it is part 2, I think. Yeah, part 2 of 3, The Secret of the Hell Scream. I hate that I'm so late getting on this, but I ended up finding a bunch of them in dollar bins also and stuff. But I wouldn't bet money that I'm gonna get a huge amount of these books finding them like that. Okay, because it was like recent runs of books, 5 or 6 issues or something. I'd be able to pick them up and stuff, and I grab them when I can. Really, I'm not putting a lot of faith of finding them in the wild, so I'm gonna have to do some calculating in my head if I want to continue. Then I got this book. These next two I'm really glad to get. Beast of Burden. It's by Evan Dorkin and Jill Thompson. And basically, the only way I know how to explain this is that there's a bunch of dogs and one cat, and they're out in the country, and there's all kinds of supernatural mythical monsters coming from the hill and around them, and these guys are the protectors. All the animals talk to each other and stuff. To be honest with you, if I had to compare it to something, and this is a very loose comparison, I would compare it to, it kind of feels like Charlotte's Web a little bit, if you get what I'm saying, but there's some real danger in this. I mean, the monsters do hurt. Now, I'm not going to say too much about it because basically the first time I ran across the Beast of Burden was in this fantastic Hellboy crossover that I read, and I'm like, this is fantastic. This is great. If it wasn't for this, I never would have known about him. And then I was able to get an issue 1 of a miniseries out of a dollar bin somewhere, maybe less than that, and read it, and this stuff is just fantastic. Just really good. So that led to me to getting a 15% discount on this hardback by Beast of Burden Animal Rights. I'm going to read what's on the back of it in case you decide you want to get it. It goes, "Welcome to Burden Hill, a peaceful suburb like any other with white picket fences and vibrant green grass, home to an unlikely team of paranormal investigators. Black magic, demonic frogs, and zombie roadkill are just a few of the problems plaguing this seemingly little sleepy town. With the human residents unaware of the danger, it's up to the determined crew of dogs and one cat, that's funny, to keep their community safe. Horror, adventure, mystery, and humor thrive on every page of Beast of Burden, which promises to capture readers' hearts and haunt their dreams." Award-winning comics creator Evan Dorkin, who has done Milk and Cheese, and Jill Thompson, who does Scary Grandmother and did a fantastic story arc with Neil Gaiman's Sandman, come together to share the lives of some unlikely heroes, first introduced in the Dark Horse Book of Hauntings, for which Dorkin and Thompson won coveted Eisner Awards for Best Short Story and Best Painter. Animal Rights collects the earliest tales along with the 4-issue comic series of Beast of Burden. $15. This is a fantastic deal, and just looking at it, this thing looks fantastic. It's got a really, for some reason, this gives me a 70s feel with the cream color and the cloth binding here on the back of it and stuff. And the thing, I don't know, it feels solid, man. This is fantastic. But anyway, Beast of Burden, check it out. Check it out. What I've read so far has been fantastic. Okay? Now, let's do some DC stuff, right? Before I get to the main DC Rebirth stuff here. Got some DC Future Quest, some Hanna-Barbera products here. Now, I got this first one. I think these are all variant editions, okay? But I got Wacky Raceland #1, where this goes back and takes some Hanna-Barbera characters. People have been doing reviews on it for months and talking about it. These books have been pretty good. Haven't heard too much about this one, but they take the old concept of was it Dick Dastardly and Muttley, and oh my God, it's been years since I've watched it and stuff. And it was on Cartoon Network when I watched it. This cartoon came out about a year or two before I was born. But anyway, they had Penelope Pit Stop, and then I think they had the Wacky Races or something, which was sort of some of the same characters in the sequel. But anyway, they've updated this and put them in like this Mad Max world is what I've heard and stuff. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is a variant cover. I got number 1 just to kind of fill it out because, you know, I was like, oh my God. Now these next 3 books here, I'm really, 3 books, I'm really excited to have. And for some reason I didn't order number 3 this, but one of the best series I think that's coming out of DC is just underneath, if you're not in the know or you're not willing to take a chance, you know. The first one I got here, I want to say this is a Steve Rude variant cover of Future Quest number 1. I'm a huge Johnny Quest fan, number 1. A huge Space Ghost fan, number 1, and that whole 60s Hanna-Barbera. I mean, I grew up on the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. You know, they were on every station, it seemed like, growing up on Saturday mornings. But Johnny Quest is the one that's done it. I have a little bit of a Johnny Quest collection here and stuff. So, and Steve Rude on Johnny Quest, he just does a few pages. Why they didn't have him do the whole thing, that would have been nice. You know, I mean, I get it, but you know, he gets to come in there. So I have another Johnny Quest Steve Rude, which I'm freaking flipping about. He did a Space Ghost one shot for Kamiko of Space Ghost in, I think, around '88. And then there was the Kamiko Johnny Quest series, which I have. I'm getting real close to having a complete set. Steve Rude did an issue, which I was just like, woo. All right, then I got the Vil Stinkovich. I think that's how you say it. Space Ghost cover. All right, this will be signed one day. This was just a dream come true, just to have another Space Ghost. I think up here, it's either right there or it's on this end. My Space Ghost comics, you know. Just fantastic. And basically they're taking a lot of the 60s, almost all those 60s Hanna-Barbera comics, and they're sort of meshing them all together, and it's been really well done. This is a variant cover, and I'm not going to say who did it because I recognize the style, but I don't want to come out and say, you know, and end up being wrong about it. It looks like there's some watercolors on here and stuff. Here's number 2. I'm pretty sure this should be a variant edition. And I find it very interesting that we have the old logo now. And then we got the new DC logo. So it's kind of interesting when you get comics like that. Alright, before I get to the DC Rebirth stuff, let's go through this. Very excited about this. I've collected Astro City from the day it came out. I have the freaking poster that was hanging in the comic book shop that used to be in a Claypool Hill mall. That one of my friends who became Rod Boyd, I think was his name, owned. And first you had the display of the poster of Astro City, and it was coming, and it was this figure flying. It's Astro City, the cover for the first Astro City from 20 years ago. Okay, and I actually have the poster, which is kind of cool. And as the story went along, you know, they came out with this story called Tarnished Angel, and it's about a villain named Stilljack, whose look is based on Robert Mitchum. Okay, these are the issues from the 90s, early 2000s. Something like that. But anyway, this is a fantastic story. A little bit of noir. It felt like a 70s TV show because the guy was a villain in the 70s. And then he spent 20 years from 78 to 98. Astro City, all the characters age in real time. So he spent 20 years in jail, and it was about him getting out and finding out the real world might be harder than he thought, and he's not wanting to break parole, and it was just a fantastic thing. He got involved in black murders and things were going around him, and it was just fantastic. Well, now we have, what is that, 18 years later, we have the sequel of Stilljack, the return of Stilljack, and we're going to see where he's at, you know, 18 years later. It looks like he's a private investigator. Robert Mitchum, who knew? So, you know, 32, 33. Now, I've noticed this run of Astro City, you know, it's in, you know, Astro City, like I said, it takes place in real time. So the tone and the pacing and some of the style has chased on Astro City, and so far it's been very hit or miss, but I've still enjoyed it. There's a few issues that were a chore to read. Then we go to another story arc here. I don't remember what this was about. I remember reading it. I think it's the death. Oh, what was his name? Anyway, 36, great Alex Ross covers. And then we come to The Broken Man. And as I've caught up on my Astro City, I think I've read up to about issue 22 of this run of Astro City, this ongoing series. I don't know what it is, volume 4 or something like that. I've noticed that all the story arcs are leading up to one big story. So it's almost like this is going to be a better read when it all comes together at the end and dovetails. So there's my Astro City and my Stilljack and all that stuff. Okay, and then here's my DC stuff, right? I'm I'm on board now, right? This came out months ago and I've seen it, but I have the Ivan Rice variant cover, DC Universe Rebirth. I've actually read this online. Wished I'd had the book when it came out. One of the few that I wish I'd bought off the stands. I'd have put my money down and stuff. Because when, spoiler, it's coming. When I put the book down, you can come back. Basically, when, Barry Allen remembered the real Wally West and they gave that hug and stuff. Not gonna lie, man. A lot of feels there. And I can't believe I said feels. Spoiler over. Alright, then I got these. These are variant covers. I don't know why I ordered these. I figured why not. I was there and I was like, why not? So I might flip these. I don't know, man. But here's Harley Quinn #1 from the DC Rebirth with the variant cover. I want to say Sinkovich did this cover also. If he did, that's going to make it really hard to get rid of because it's just a beautiful cover. Really like that. And then I also got #2 since we were just going away. I'm trying to see who did this is a variant cover. I'm going to guess and say it's Sinkovich also. I could be completely wrong. It's okay. There's a red signature on it, but I don't know. I don't know. Could that be pseudonym? I don't know. I'll look it up. So yeah, I got that. And then I don't know what's going on with this thing, but in the middle of the Dark Knight 3, the Master Race DK3, Miller Azzarello with John Romita Jr. came on, and I don't know if this is a one-shot or if it's supposed to be a miniseries inside the miniseries, but we got Dark Knight Returns, The Last Crusade. And I'm alright with John Romita Jr. being on Batman. Back in the 90s, I read the Batman Punisher crossover, and they had John Romita Jr. come in and do his version of Batman and Robin stuff, and I thought it was fantastic, I'm comfortable with his Superman stuff, but that's more like a style. I don't think his style really matched Superman or whatever, but good for him. He got to do Superman, that's kind of cool. So hopefully, this has been in a while. And I tell you what, I've really been enjoying DK3 more than I thought I would. After Dark Knight Strikes Again back in the day, it's like everything in that book was good that didn't have anything to do with Batman. That was wild. But anyway, I got the collector's editions of these with Jim Lee sketch covers on them. Here's Dark Knight 3, book 3, hardback. And like if you get the regular editions, they have a mini comic inside by Frank Miller. And in these collected editions, those are full-size pages. Okay, so there's part 3. Here's part 4. And that's hearkening back to the original Dark Knight Returns, my friends. That's wild. This is kind of like when the Joker read on the news Batman was back and he came back to life. So yeah, got that. And then the Master Book 5. And this, again, another scene out of the original Dark Knight Returns, So this was fantastic. Hardback. Fear is what I dream about. Interesting. I didn't notice that. So that's my haul. Ooh. Looks like Superman got the spit knocked out of his face. Hand over my son. Hand over your son is what it says. Hand over your son. That's on the back of this one. Get up, Kansas. Wallow time is over. Again. Looks like Superman is getting his butt handed to him. Frank Miller doesn't like superheroes. That's what's kind of obvious. Alright guys, that's my haul. Thanks for hanging in there. And catch you later.